Welcome to Butterflies of Wisdom, everyone. And I'm sorry for the PC users out there. You're not allowed to play on this episode because this episode will be talking about Mac stuff, although we make it into a little PC end of it. But this episode is talking about my favorite subject, Macintosh. And I have David Sparks with me. David Sparks is a lawyer out of California. That's his day job. But I guess after being a lawyer, he loves Macintosh technology. He hosts a podcast with Katie Floyd called Mac Power Users on Relay FM, and he does it all. So without further ado, I'm going to have Mr. David take it away.
Hi, thanks for having me on the show.
You are so welcome. So my questions to you are, one, how do we make untie ourselves from our laptops? I know you have experience in that. I know you work off an iPad half the time, don't you? Although maybe you have a Macintosh laptop still. But what would be your expertise for beginning users to make ourselves mobile?
I think it depends on what you do. The first thing you should do if you want to get more mobile is just take stock of what type of projects and work you do on your technology. Because there's some things that lend themselves to mobile better than others. And you're right, we do have this abundance of riches right now. We've got the Mac OS, which is a great operating system. We've got iOS on the iPad. Even I think for your Windows viewers, I think Microsoft Windows has made a lot of progress in the last few years, where all of these things are lending themselves more to mobile work. But you need to know what kind of work you're going to be doing. If you're going to be editing video and doing high-end graphics, you probably need a computer. If you're going to be doing a lot of email or, writing documents, you can do that on virtually any device and any platform. So getting an understanding of what you do makes it possible for you to make a smart decision about what you can do mobilely.
Okay, so you're saying the video editors out there who are listening to this podcast will be tough luck if they try to call mobile because you need a big processor to edit these videos and these iPads. Even though they're gorgeous, they don't have a big enough processor. But the independent writer like myself can do it on an iPad.
Yeah, and I almost hesitate to even say you can't do video because there's some really great video editing software out there. And I was just talking to a friend that works for a large website, and they edit video for their website on iPads. So it is getting to the point where there's not much you can't do. But I guess to give an example, one of the things I do is I write books, and I do them in iBooks Author, which is a tool that allows you to make media-rich books. And that doesn't exist on iPad. If I want to work on the iBooks Author file, I have to do it on a Mac. So that's one thing that doesn't get done mobilely unless I buy a laptop. So that's the kind of, look at the tools you're using, see what platforms they work on, and from there, you can make smart decisions about what you can do on the road and what you can't.
Yeah. And Apple over the years has saved my bacon several times. I grew up on Apple. I grew up with the colorful iMacs and colorful desktop computers. And I also grew up with the Apple QE2, which was a big computer, and now with these assistive technologies, man, you can do a lot. But I was thinking if a person wanted to use a PC on a Mac, could they do that? Because I know that JAWS is, for the blind community, is more PC friendly than on a Mac. But I'm not sure if you know this, David. Does JAWS come on the Mac, or does JAWS primarily come on the PC? JAWS is voiceover for screen reading for you guys that don't know.
Sure. Well, I don't know if they have a Mac native version, but because Macs these days run on Intel processors, you can install Windows on a Mac. So you can, if you want, you can have really the best of both worlds. You can have the Mac operating system for whatever you need it for, and then when you want, you can load in Windows and run whatever Windows applications you want. So that's one way around it. I don't know if they do make a specific application for Macintosh.
I know that Siri is Macintosh's queen of note-taking, and so I know you do a lot with Siri and a lot with notes, and Siri has gotten better over the years. Trust me, she's the best in iOS 11. Those of us that have it, Siri's the best now. And so can you give my listeners just a couple tips on Siri? Because I've had people say to me, able-bodied people and the disabled alike, say to me that Siri can't understand them.
Yeah, it's interesting because Siri is so close, but it's one of those technologies where if it's not perfect all the time, it's very discouraging. Like, I add tasks to my reminders. I'll say, add buy carrots to my Target list, and then it will I have a list for when I go to the Target store, and it says buy carrots. And that works 9 out of 10 times, but the 10th time that it doesn't work, it's extremely frustrating because then you have to go find some other way to get that information in. Yeah. I think, I'm not trying to be an apologist for Apple, but this stuff is actually really hard to do because they do it in multiple languages and multiple accents and dialects. And there's two pieces to Siri. When you activate Siri, the first thing is it needs to understand the words you say. When I say add buy carrots to my Target list, it needs to understand those actual words. And then the second thing it needs to do is interpret those words to some form of action on the computer needs to do something with those. It needs to know, okay, he's asking me to add the words buy carrots to the Target list. So, there's two steps there, and sometimes it fails on the first step and sometimes it fails on the second step. It's an interesting product for Apple because it's a cloud server product, where the company is usually focused on software natively to your device. So they're constantly iterating and updating it in the background, and it's constantly getting better. So I would say hang in there with it because it's very useful, especially if you have disabilities. Yeah. Another tool that I think is an excellent tool, and I recommend everybody use this, is Dragon Anywhere. If you do a lot of dictation on your mobile devices, Siri dictation is fine. You can press the little microphone button on the keyboard and you can dictate for about 45 seconds, and it usually does a pretty good job of getting your words on the screen. But as anybody who's ever written more than 45 seconds worth of text knows, it just stops. When it runs out of time, it just stops. And then you have to press the button again, and a lot of times the capitalization is wrong because it just starts afresh. It doesn't know the follow-up. This Dragon, Nuance, Nuance is the company that makes Dragon dictation, which I know a lot of people like on the Mac and on the PC, but it also makes an excellent product for iOS called Dragon Anywhere. And this also works on Android, by the way. So whether you're on Android or iOS, you can use this. The big downside is it's $15 a month. It's a big subscription. It's a lot of money, but it really is a superior dictation engine to Siri, or I would argue Google Voice as well, because with Dragon, you can just start talking and it just keeps going. It doesn't stop. It doesn't arbitrarily stop on you. The other thing that it does is you can have your own custom vocabulary. So you can add, unique spellings of your friends' names or clients or whatever it is that you're working on. and it will dictate those words just right for you. So like if you had told it that there is a phrase called butterflies of wisdom, it would always get that right. Where Siri, it's more touch and go. It's a great product. I don't know how many folks in your community are using it, but I strongly recommend it if you feel like you're not getting enough out of dictation.
Well, I'm going to start using Dragon Naturally Speaking because Siri is wonderful. Don't get me wrong, but you're right. She'll give you 45 minutes of talking time, and you'll have to start a new sentence. So I'm going to eventually be a Dragon Naturally Speaking fan because over the years I've spent, I don't know how many hours trying these speech-to-text dictation tools and how much money I spent over the years too.
Yeah,
and so I think now that you too. So I think now we're finally getting to the point where Dragon and Siri work together, and what I'm noticing is Google Docs is excellent about you type one thing on the iPhone or you type a full sentence, it will appear on the iPad. So I'm a big fan of Google Docs, and it will appear on PC and the Macintosh as well.
Yeah, and the workflow I would use for that, if you're going to try Dragon anywhere on your iPad or iPhone, is it's an application. You have to do the dictation in the Nuance application. But you just press one button and it copies out. Or you can even just say, select all, copy to clipboard, and it'll copy that to the clipboard. And then you go into Google Docs and paste it, and then it goes to the Google Docs system. The advantage of Siri dictation is you can dictate anywhere. You can dictate in the Google Docs application. With Dragon, you have to go inside their application. But the quality of dictation is so much better. And if anybody's interested, I would recommend that you can buy a yearly plan, but if the monthly plan is $15, I'd say just give it $15. Try it for 1 month and just see. Like, I think they even have a 1 week free trial. So you could go in and just try it for a week for the free trial and see if it's better. But I find it a lot better. Like on this, where I do legal stuff in my life, I'm a lawyer too. A lot of times I read contracts for clients, and I will mark up a contract on the iPad with the pencil, and then I will just slide in the Dragon dictation window on the side. You can do that on the iPad. You can have 2 apps open.
Yes.
And I will just read through my annotations and just dictate notes and then email that off to the client. Say, okay, here's the marked up contract and here are my thoughts. And I can do that so fast with an iPad and Dragon anywhere, and much faster than I could ever do with a keyboard.
So I was going to ask you what your favorite app is, but I can tell that it's Dragon.
Oh, I don't know. It's like children. I have so many that I love.
It's like children. I knew you were going to say that.
But with dictation, I am definitely a fan of Dragon anywhere. I pay the price and I like it. But there's a lot of apps I like, and it, it depends what you do. I think one of the tricks with the whole app game is don't get every app. Find the ones that work for you and get really good at those.
Yeah.
And try minimizing them there. But don't be afraid to try something new either. I mean, one of the nice things about what Apple's done with the iPad and the iPhone is they've made it very painless to install a new application or delete one. It used to be really hard on Windows and the Mac years ago to put new apps on and buy them and go to strange websites and all this. Now you just push a button and you can try it out.
Yeah. And I know with Siri's dictionary, I know that you can type in letters and it will come out with full places. I know that. But 9 times out of 10, I just type into Siri what I can do. Now, on iOS 11, the moment I say that, you can, starting in September, you guys, when it comes out publicly, you can type into Siri what you want to say, and Siri can find out what she needs to sign out, which I think is a cool assistive technology feature. I know, David, you have it on the 12-inch 9 iPad that you now have, and I have it on my 12-inch iPad, and I now have it on my iPhone. And I think Siri's getting better and better every time iOS comes out with a new major update.
Yeah, Apple takes this really seriously, and they're trying to, they want to be the best at it, but it takes time, and they like one of the things that people don't know, or it's out, the information's out there, you don't realize it. Apple has a building in Massachusetts where they do a lot of their dictation technology research. Well, that's the same, it's very near the same place that the Nuance people are located. And I think they built their dictation company there because they're going to have a lot of people from Nuance joining them, and they want them to make it as easy as possible for these smart dictation people to go to work for Apple. I mean, they're constantly trying to make this stuff better. And the other thing that we're getting is every time the phones get bigger processors and faster chips inside of them, it gets more power to do this stuff, so they can add more nuance to it. One of the other nice things with the new iOS 11 is Siri sounds better. The voice is more natural. I don't know. Have you noticed that?
Yes, I was just going to say that. And I believe it's in accessibility. You can actually have her speak sentences back to you. So if you're confused as to what you just said to her, she will speak sentences back to you and not only read what you selected, but she will speak sentences back to you as they're typing them.
Yeah. I've talked to people at Apple over the years about accessibility, and they take it really seriously. I mean, it's not, how some big companies give lip service to accessibility because they think it's politically correct to say that. The people at Apple, they really want to be the best at that. I mean, they really try hard. You would know better than I how much they succeed, but I know that that's a big deal to them.
Yes, they try hard just to integrate it in their operating systems and in everyday life, just so you don't have to add on equipment. And as I said, I've been an Apple fan for how many years? Oh, I can't even remember. But the more and more this assistive technology is integrated, and people don't think about it, but every single person on the planet is using Siri on a daily basis. Yeah.
When I was up at, I went to the Worldwide Developer Conference that Apple does every year for its developers. A developer friend of mine went to the accessibility sessions where they taught you how to add accessibility features to your applications, for application developers. And the comment he made to me was he didn't realize how easy they've made it. At this point, it's so easy to add accessibility features to your application that really there's no excuse that every app should have accessibility features baked in, because it doesn't take that much work. Apple's done all the heavy lifting. So I would recommend if there's any apps anybody listening that doesn't have those features that they'd like, that you should send a note to the developer and tell them that that you're out there and you'd like that stuff.
Is there a way to? I was going to ask this because I have a couple apps on my iPhone that are now not compatible with iOS 11. Is there a way to contact developers, or do we just have to wait?
I think what you do is, because you're running the beta, so there's a good chance they're aware that there's a problem and they're working on it. You should never feel entitled and complain, because it's not even public software yet. So you give them a chance. But you'd be surprised. When I was at WWDC, the first day that they released the iOS 11 beta, I was sitting next to a developer friend who got an angry email from someone saying that their app wasn't working on iOS 11. He's like, they just announced it an hour ago. How can I possibly have fixed it? Yeah. But so be respectful, but tell them, but they would definitely, I think, want that feedback to let you know hey, this isn't working, and this is, what I see, or send them a screenshot if you can, or just whatever information you can give them. And a lot of times those developers may even ask if you want to be on the beta. They'll beta test their own app with the new system, and maybe you'll get in early and get it working sooner for yourself. So definitely give them feedback. They love that.
Yeah, definitely give them feedback. Okay, so that's what I was just curious about. And now, where can the people find you? I know you're all over the planet. I've been to the website. As I said at the top of this podcast recording, you host a very fabulous podcast with co-host Mac Power Users. But where can people find you? And then before I let you go, David, I'm going to let you turn the mic on me and ask me a couple questions that you've been interested in asking me.
All right. Well, if you want to find me, I would recommend going to macsparky.com, MACSPARKY.com, and you can get links to all my podcasts there and all the books I write and everything I do. So that's the place to go find me. Now, my question for you is, when you wake up in the morning, what about your work makes you smile? What makes you happy to get up and do all the great stuff you do?
What about my work makes me smile? Well, when it comes down to it, the work that I do helping the disabled community and bridging the gap between the disabled and able-bodied community, that makes me smile. I mean, the feedback I've gotten on this podcast, I mean, it's been known to save people's lives and help people. And so that just makes me smile and makes me wake up and do it all over again.
That's a pretty good answer. I like that.
Yep, that's a pretty good answer. That makes me want to think and reach deeper into the Apple community and reach deeper into all these communities just to bridge the gap between the able-bodied and the disabled. And you guys, you know I'm here. You know that Mac Power Users is a wonderful podcast. So they're on Relay FM. If you just type in Mac Power Users in any podcasting aggregator app, in iTunes, in Overcast, in Stitcher, you will probably find them because they do a very good job at keeping up and producing episodes. Your episodes come out every other Sunday, am I correct in saying that?
It's weekly. Weekly.
Weekly. So every
weekly,
Sunday. So you guys can always find workflow tips and everything else under the sun. Unfortunately, it's not geared towards PCs, as I said, but that's okay. Maybe there's one out there for PCs, but you would have to hunt for it. I certainly don't know because I'm a Mac girl and I'm a Mac fan girl all the way. So Celia is how I write my book. David uses Apple's iBook Author, which is a fabulous app for his books. So we're Mac people all the way. And I hope you guys enjoyed another fabulous episode with David and I speaking on behalf of the Apple community. And I just hope you guys enjoyed another fabulous episode. Thanks to you guys.